Hi there, I'm Laser. I am the writer and performer of A Shark Ate My Penis at Hollywood Fringe Festival, and I bet you're wondering more, so keep watching. I have loved theater for a very long time. I think the reason that I fell in love with it was I think I probably first fell in love with theater when I was just a kid going to shows with my parents. We had this incredible trip to London when I was like maybe in fourth grade, and we went and saw Cats and we saw Macbeth on the West End, and it was this incredible experience of seeing something done so profoundly well and so emotionally, and that is just something that you don't see anywhere else, people expressing emotions strongly, and like kind of without shame. So I really enjoyed that. I really didn't get into theater until probably the last 5 years, though. I think in middle school and high school, my school had an amazing program, but it was very competitive. At the time, I was a kind of an awkward little kid. I was, still in the closet. I hadn't transitioned, and I just wasn't comfortable with my body. And so for a long time, I thought theater was a thing I couldn't do. But once I had spent a lot of time writing songs and performing them as a singer-songwriter, and I realized that I could make my own show and no one could stop me. I got very excited about that. And I just love the way that theater gives you an opportunity to talk about feelings, and burst into song. I have been writing since I was a little kid. I wrote a novel about my dog. I wrote when I was probably 10. I come from a family of writers. My aunt is a novelist, and my grandparents have written books, and so has my dad. And it was something that I always knew was a thing one could do, which I feel very lucky about that. But it was pretty much in college when I realized that I wanted to be a writer, and at the time I wanted to be a newspaper reporter. And the thing I love about writing is that even though you're technically, you're sitting down, you're writing, that's the same thing every day. You're never doing the same thing every day, because you have to learn and synthesize information and tell new stories and grow. And I just don't think I could do anything other than that. It's just so much more interesting to me than any other job. The theater experience is unique for the audience and the actors because, honestly, the reason that there's nothing like it is because it's that emotional bond between live performance and live audience is something that, that's the basis upon which church is built, right? There was a very funny tweet somebody did the other day, was like, I used to be so into worship music, and then I realized I just really like live music, right? It's something that we as humans just are drawn to, and it fills up your heart and it makes you feel things in a way that I think that, watching something on TV or whatever is never going to quite do, because there's, those sound waves are going straight from somebody's mouth to your ears. And that's something that's, it's a religious experience. Theater is my church because I think it's the thing that matters most to me. It's the thing where you can talk about what really matters to you and tell stories. And that's what, religion frequently is. At least it was when I was a kid, of here is a parable and the moral of it is something you can learn from. And that's what I write as well. It's here is a story about people getting along and talking about their feelings. And to me, that's when theater is at its best, is when it's trying to make the world a better place. I love musicals so much. I think the reason is, if I'm to dig into my own psychology, is that I really like people explicitly saying how they feel, because I have a hard time reading human emotion. So, like they say, in a musical, you burst into song when you can no longer speak, the emotion is too strong. And I think so frequently in real life, when the emotion gets too strong and we can no longer speak, we just stop and we go and hide. But in a musical, you can have this opportunity to tell people how you're feeling and to process those feelings. Also, I just love musicals. I love the music. I love listening to it. You know, I've been a big like Disney musicals fan. You know, Alan Menken is my hero since I was a little baby boy. It's just the stuff that has always made the most sense to me. So it feels like both harder than, you know, straight theater in that you have to write songs and you have to figure out how to, you know, mic them and put music, but it's also to me just like an easier way to tell stories because you can just say exactly what you're thinking, and the corniness is part of it. So I first heard about the Hollywood Fringe Festival when I was taking an improv class with my friend Darcy Rose. And she was doing like 6 shows at the Hollywood Fringe one year because she's wild and I love her. And then when I came together to want to, I had written this show from like 2019 to 2022. I realized that doing the Hollywood Fringe Festival would be a great way to get the show on its feet because it's kind of low pressure. It's a great framework. It's a great deadline, which artists always need of like, well, I should put the show up eventually. Oh, if I sign up for Fringe, I have to do it in June. And the thing I absolutely love about the Fringe is, and especially Hollywood, is that it's just a wonderful, supportive community of people who hang out at the office hours, who go to each other's shows, who want to create interesting, weird art. And, you know, it's not going to be a place where you make a ton of money or get something else out of it. So really it is for the love of the game in a way, which I think makes it even more beautiful. I wanted this show to be part of Hollywood Fringe because I did Fringe last year. I did an ensemble musical. It's the first time I really had ever done theater, and had such an incredible experience with the venue I worked with, the Broadwater, with, you know, my director, Ashley Ward, and my co-writer, Aaron Wilson. We just had a really good time, and it felt like the absolute best thing I could do. And putting up a show at Fringe is just a wonderful framework. So I'm bringing it to Hollywood Fringe. Really excited to do it there, and I know it'll make the show better. And then I'm going to bring it to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival after that, which is, you know, you do the show every day. It's pretty intense. So I'm excited to have the wonderful supportive network at Hollywood to kick off the show. The show I'm doing at Hollywood Fringe this year is called A Shark Ate My Penis, a story of guys like me, a history of guys like me. It's a show about trans men through the past. And the reason I wanted to write it is I've been reading especially one book called Female Husbands by Jen Manion. And it told these stories of these guys who were trying to live their truth, you know, from 1700 to 1900 in a world where the word transgender didn't even exist, right? But at the same time, their stories are so similar to mine and so relatable, you know, on an emotional level and on, you know, a logistical level of how do you try to get people to see you as a man, and how do you get through your life, and how do you find a woman who wants to be with you, even though you may not have, you know, the life that people are expecting given the way you look. And it was just, it immediately hit me in the face of like, I have to write a musical about this. I have to tell these people's stories because the songs that they would sing are the same songs that I would sing, about their feelings and their struggles. The main story of the musical is mine. It's a story about me and how I came out as trans and why I didn't come out earlier, which is kind of the big mystery for me because when I look back, everything is so obvious. So it's going through that and then diving into the stories of these role models of these guys throughout history and how their stories are pretty much the same as mine. And also dealing with transphobia and people who say that it's not real, and the internalized transphobia that comes from, you know, being a member of this society, which is represented by JK Rowling in the show. So we have, the actual plot has a lot of time travel, has a lot of conversations, has a lot of songs, but ultimately it's just a story told in a funny way about my journey. Shark Ate My Penis has an incredible creative team. I'm so excited. I'm working with the Soaring Solo Studios, Jessica Lynn Johnson, who really was the person who made me believe that solo theater was possible. She produced my girlfriend's show, Asexuality, a Solo Musical, which is incredible, and has just a beautiful community of people who do shows at Fringe. So she helped me just like make a plan. Let's do it. And then I brought on my friend and the director, Ashley Ward, who has been an incredible collaborator, incredible at like nurturing mother of this show, basically, of telling me how to rehearse and how to live and how to feel comfortable in my body on stage, because I haven't really done anything like that before. Aaron Wilson is a guy I met doing musical improv at the UCB Theater. He's a music director and he's an incredible composer. So the last show we wrote, Teaching a Robot to Love, we wrote over the pandemic, over Zoom, over 2 years. And this show we were able to meet in person and co-write, which is something I've never done before, and it was awesome. It was some of the most fun I've ever had. We have Chloe Badner from Studio Badner, who is doing props and production design, which is I still I can't believe that that's happening. She works on things like Dropout's Game Changer, and she just has this like colorful aesthetic that's so joyful. So I'm really excited about that. And then Becca McLinn is doing the voice of JK Rowling in the recordings, which is so funny. It's so funny. She's just the funniest person. So I'm very thankful to everybody who has nurtured this show. My goal with this show and what I want the audience to get out of it is catharsis. I don't like shows about queer trauma, so I try to keep it light and the point of it is, hey, we have always been here, and here are some stories that you may not know from history, and also the struggle that we have of defining our identities and finding the right label is both universal and not the end all be all, right? It's you just being yourself and knowing who you are is enough. And that's my goal with the show, whether you're trans or not. I hope that you can learn something and also learn something about your own journey on the way. When I perform the show at Hollywood, I am looking forward to getting it up in front of an audience. That's one of the most amazing things about Hollywood Fringe, is that it's relatively easy to play in front of people. And that's the thing that I'm most not enjoying about the rehearsal process, is that I have to tell jokes to no one. So I'm hoping that people will laugh, because laughter is the currency upon which I base my life. And I'm looking forward to hearing people's stories. Like this show, every time I've done it has elicited a lot of incredible responses of people like, oh, have you heard about this person from history? Or have you heard about this? I want to tell you about my experience. So it kind of, I think community is the summary for that. I'm looking forward to the community of us all telling a story together and then talking about it. People should come see A Shark Ate My Penis at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. If you like musicals, if you like comedy, if you want to learn more about the trans experience, if you're a trans person and would like to have a joyful show that is not rooted in queer trauma and learn a little bit about trans men throughout history, if you just want to have a good time for an hour, it's a show that I'm so proud of. It's so funny and it's real weird. Come and learn why it's called A Shark Ate My Penis. Aren't you curious? Folks should absolutely go to the Hollywood Fringe Festival. It is an incredible month of theater. Last year there were over 200 shows. I don't know how many there are this year, but you can see anything from, a dance act from overseas to, somebody doing a one-person show about their journey. There are so many different kinds of shows, and even just getting to know people there, it's folks just trying their best to do something. You're going to see all different levels of theater, and you're going to get inspired. You're going to get inspired either to make your own thing or just to get out and see more theater, because it's a feeling you really can't get anywhere else. And it's a nice, fun, kind of affordable way to spend a month having a good time. Events like the Hollywood Fringe Festival are really important as a way for folks to do theater without gatekeeping, without having to pitch it through like a network or something like that, without having, big capitalism and big marketing in charge of art. It's something that's very pure and something that is very beautiful. And like I talked about, going to theater being my religion, it's something where people can talk about their feelings and talk about stuff we don't talk about in normal conversations. And it needs community support big time, because it's not a thing that is supported by advertising revenue or by investors or capital like so much in our society. It's something that can't happen without people coming to see it. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. And it's the kind of world I want to live in. So I raised money for my show using Kickstarter. I think this is probably my 10th Kickstarter. I'm a big Kickstarter guy. And I also I help other people run Kickstarters, just because I think independently funded stuff funded by crowds is a really wonderful way to get stuff made that wouldn't otherwise get made, and really important things. At the moment, if folks want to support my journey, I have a tip jar on my website, and I have, music you can buy. My artist name is Laser the Boy. I'm going to have some fun Shark Ate My Penis related merch and such. Also, I have cute buttons. So if you want to help out, I would really appreciate it. And I'm very thankful to the folks who already contributed so much, because Edinburgh Fringe is going to be real expensive, but very exciting. I think if I had to say something additional about the play or the festival, I would just say, get out and go look at the Hollywood Fringe website and the catalog of shows, and just find some stuff that appeals to you, because chances are there's going to be somebody who wrote a show that you never knew you needed. Hi, I'm LaserWebber. I wrote and am performing A Shark Ate My Penis, a history of guys like me, at the Hollywood Fringe Festival and the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this summer. You can watch it online as well. We're streaming it. So head over to the Hollywood Fringe website or go to lasertheboy.com/shark. Get your ticket. Tell me you got your ticket. I'll give you a high five. I can't wait to see you there. Bring your friends, bring your mom. It's going to be a good time.